So here's a little secret about these videos. Come closer so I don't have to shout. I used to script a brand new video every week of the semester, which meant I deleted all of my old stuff. It took me a year before I realized how stupid that was. Now, I basically keep the lesson part of it the same, with minor changes here and there, and retype the introduction and conclusion based upon the time of the year and such. I'm also doing this video, maybe some weeks ahead due to a family vacation, so keeping this straight in my head is really difficult this summer. Okay, enough garbage. Let's chat about the material for the week, shall we? You know the drill. Scroll down, find the 102 Masterclass schedule under here, View Course Schedule, click on it, and then we're going to go all the way down to week 9, which is almost done. And in week 9, you'll see that there are 4 documents to review, some of which you already did, and 1 assignment to submit. Before anything else, however, I want to show you something for next week, week 10, the final week of the semester. It ends on Saturday, July 22nd. And this is where your 2 final huge assignments are due. So in order to get this very clear in your head, let's talk like this. I will not be able to accept the final paper or the final presentation late at all. They are due by Saturday, July 22nd, 2023 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern. I cannot and will not accept these late. The semester will literally end at the exact same time this window closes. So the submissions will be locked out. I am quite literally giving you to the very last second to submit your material. I cannot accept it if it's late, and I will not accept any pleas for exceptions. I will not grant any extensions, and I will not accept any excuses. Why? I cannot. Again, the semester literally ends when the paper and presentation are submitted. Period. Please don't put it off. I'd hate to see people get burned for extreme procrastination. So now that I've made that clear, let's jump right in and take a look at argumentative speech overview. Now, I'm skipping over the developing your research paper using APA style simply because we've kind of covered this on last week's video. If you want to go through the video, you're welcome to do so. Take a look at the sample references page. But I would recommend going back, and I'm going to show that to you in just a second. Here we go. Last week's video. See this gentleman here putting on his sunglasses? And right here under review, I have the 3 best links I could possibly give you for APA. So that's why we're not going to go over this, because we've already gone over it. I want you to make sure that you can see all 3 of these links in last week's announcement, and that way you should be in really good shape. So again, we're going to jump into argumentative research speech overview. So by going into here, it really outlines the requirements, and that's going to be the most important part of this. And the requirements are basically going to be, making sure to include these 5 bullet points right here. What is your topic? Well, that's kind of obvious, right? Making sure that you can tell me if it's related to your major, what your career plans are. What were 3 or 4 of your major research questions? What was your thesis statement? Did it change at any time? What were your claims, counter-arguments, and rebuttal? What were 2 of the 3 most important things and interesting things that you learned? Okay? Now, this page will outline the requirements of the project, and as you can see, where is it? Right here. There we go. I knew it was somewhere. It's 5 to 8 minutes. I know. Some of you are not used to that, and you're panicking. Don't panic. Trust me when I tell you this. 5 to 8 minutes when you script your video out is very quick. There are so many times this semester where I think I'm killing it on time recording these videos, and when I look down, I'm shocked to find out I'm already at 12 minutes. I mean, hell, this is already 4 minutes in. Don't think that 5 to 8 minutes is ridiculous, because it will go so quickly that you won't even realize it. Anyway, anything under 5 minutes will lose you points. Anything grossly over 8 minutes will lose you points. So there's a sweet spot, folks, here. Hit it. You'll be using this presentation to show what you found in your research paper. No, you will not be reading your research paper. This is not a Sunday afternoon in the children's section of the library where you sit cross-legged listening to whatever the librarian is choosing to use to entertain the kids, okay? You're presenting the highlights of your paper. As you can see, the powers that be provided these 5 bullet points we just covered, and that's to make sure that you can kind of focus yourself. Make sure that you encompass all the information necessary in that presentation. So, I don't expect you to go point by point, but you can mix them around in your own attitude and personality, much like I do, okay? Now, one thing that I want you to understand is that we are talking about a presentation here. That means you're trying to entertain as well as inform your audience. Think about these videos. Whether you connect to them or not, you know I'm trying to make you chuckle with my break-in gifs or stupid comments. When I do a PowerPoint, I always include visuals to break up the blocks of text because the audience doesn't want to be hammered by lines of text. They want to be entertained as well as learning something. That's why this section is so important right here, adding visuals. You can use a variety of techniques to keep your readers interested, but make sure to cite things. I have attached a sample of my PowerPoint presentation to this announcement, and you can go through there. It's called Click Here to be Under Arrest. Take a look at it, and make sure to look at the notes pages on each. We will cover it next week when I go over what the presentation should look like, but you can always jump ahead. Clip art and other small pictures that you want to include are always helpful, but make sure they actually connect to what's already on the slide. Use your best judgment to ensure that you're not just being exploitative. For example, if you're speaking about drunk driving, you shouldn't even consider putting a bloody DUI accident crime scene photo on the slide. That's the quickest way to alienate your audience. Don't drop 300 photos on a single slide either. 1 or 2 tasteful pictures in the right locations speak volumes. That goes for stats and graphs as well. Remember to cite those stats and graphs, however. The key to everything is readability. If your audience cannot follow your ideas or everything is so jumbled that it's confusing, your presentation falls totally flat. Now, it's not on this page, but I'll tell you right now that I'll expect roughly the same number of slides as I expected pages in your paper. 1 title slide, 7 to 8 content slides, at least 1 references slide with all the material you use within your presentation, and then the any questions slide. So at minimum, I'll be expecting 10 total slides. Since many of you skip these videos, I'll be sure to spell that out very clearly on the next week's announcement as well, okay? Now, the next few pages here are pretty much commonsensical. Honestly, they're not really geared towards the presentation in general. They're more lined up for parts of your research paper, which we've already covered. So if we go back here, we can see that we talk about how to begin a speech effectively. And honestly, that takes care of the introduction and attention getters. For this presentation, you'll want to introduce yourself and the topic. Once you establish the basics, yes, you'll need to introduce something interesting to get started. I always prefer the shocking statement or a statistic, but you might choose the third-person anecdote or historical review. It's up to you. So all of these parts here, you can click through and make sure that you read through them. That's great. And then down here, the attention getter. There's a lot of different things we do, okay? Like I said, startling statement is one of my favorites. But I would read through it. Okay? Okay, good. Many students use the opening question to a very nice effect in the presentation. It makes the audience feel like they're part of the presentation rather than just an unwilling viewer. Now, going back, organizing the argumentative research speech, it's a bit of a waste of time because you're going to organize your presentation the same way that you organize your paper. Introduction, background, argument points 1 through 3, counter-argument, rebuttal, conclusion. Once you get through that, you're done. I don't necessarily think that you needed the entire page to explain that bit of common sense. Now that the theory is done, let's talk about brass tacks, shall we? Let's get into the assignment for the week. As you can see, there's only one assignment due for this week, the outline for your speech. You can see the traditional outline set up by clicking on this link here, which gives us to this page, and this link here, which will then give us this. It's called a traditional or hierarchical outline, and I'm actually a big fan of it. It looks very boring, and it looks like something that you might think I'd hate. But I was taught the hierarchical outline in 6th grade by Mr. A. Kendall Chu, and I have used it ever since. And this is actually really focused. So as long as you use this as kind of like a pre-script, you can actually start to put all your material in here and get everything that you need. Okay? Just start filling in the blanks. I'll take a look at it when you submit it. And once you get this complete, the actual construction and execution of your presentation is actually quite easy. 2 submissions left after this week, folks. Can you believe it? You've almost made it. The outline this week is very important, and you need to work on that paper in the final presentation for next week, as that is the bulk of your final grade. Once they are in, you are finished, and you can belly up to the bar for a little bit of liquid celebration. You'll have earned it by that point. Until then, Work hard this week and we'll catch up again for the final video next week.